Do you feel like you're an underdog, and if so, why?
Yeah, 100%. Just being from Philadelphia.
Right.
Kind of, you can't name too many people from Philadelphia that you know off the top of your head, or that you know from Philadelphia that kind of make it out of the struggle that we come from where I live. So from just starting with that, I'm an underdog.
So underdog, your story needs to be heard. This whole thing is about celebrating underdogs and just telling their story.
Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated, yeah. Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated, we the ones. Yeah, we the ones. Yeah, we the ones. We the ones. Yeah.
Obviously, you're a basketball player. I've been blessed. It's crazy how God works to be able to train you before you go over to Australia. That's where you play in the NBL.
Yes, sir.
And what year is this for you?
Second over there.
But what year is a pro?
With the COVID and the bubble, probably like 5 or 6, 6 maybe.
So does that mean you're a vet now?
Yeah,
how many years
I'm getting that.
So you're a vet?
Yeah.
So when you go on the team, you the OG now?
No, not the OG, but I'm in line.
Okay, and congratulations on that. But here's what's crazy. Let's just jump right into because it's always a foundation. Actually, before we talk about anything basketball, I always there's two things I want to start off with. I believe behind every good person, there's an amazing team. To be your best self, you have to have a great team. So who's your team that's allowed you to have this amazing underdog DNA that you have?
My parents. I can go into depth about them. I talk a lot, so I ain't going to say too much. But my parents, Michelle, my fiance, she's been with me for a minute since college, so it's been a long time. She's got me through a lot. And then my brother, and then my brothers that I developed over my time of growing. It's kind of, I have a core circle where I know how it works, what each person brings and gives, and when we need each other, it's I kind of building that dynamic.
Yeah, no doubt. No, I appreciate that, and that's dope to take time to give them their flowers, because I'm sure that's important to you. Now, with that being said, tell our audience how long you've been playing basketball.
I mean, I've been playing with the bros, you know what I mean? You go to the park and you shoot if it's something to do on the day. I've always been attracted to basketball, but never took it serious, never worked out, played in a couple teams. Because where I'm from, if you're nice in the street league, that's you made it. You solidified. So that's all you know. So it's not nothing serious where you go work out and stuff. But 10th grade year, I decided that I wanted to play basketball. Tried out. I think I made JV, but my grades was bad, so I couldn't play, so I didn't play that whole year. And then 11th grade was when I started to really take it serious, because my mom told me I couldn't play if my grades wasn't. So now I had to work to get my grades, so it's if I'm going to do that to play basketball, I really got to lock in, because I'm not doing this just to do it.
Now, but up until that point, you had never played on a team.
Yeah, no, my middle school team I played on, and then I remember too, the Aztecs was one of them, a little league. I played with my bros, and then maybe a few others.
But you ain't have a trainer.
Yeah,
you wasn't playing Nike, UIBL.
I'm doing whoever I meet or my bro go to. That's who I'm with. I feel comfortable around my brothers, so or somebody that I trust. So if you're doing it and I trust that you love your life and you want to be better just as much as I do, so I'm going to rock with you. So that's kind of how I got around.
Yeah. Now, when you started, so let's just say when you got serious about basketball, 11th grade, 10th grade, but you couldn't play, did you have any aspirations? Did you have huge basketball dreams?
Nah.
You was just playing?
Yeah, so like I said, I played basketball around, but if I'm not good at something, I don't feel comfortable doing it, which I have to get better at, but because I kind of pick up things kind of fast, like games and things of that nature. So basketball, I wasn't the best when I picked it up, because I picked it, late. So it was just something to do. It was just, I don't know. It kind of freed me from being in Philadelphia, which you see the same things every day. When you go to a court, it's kind of everything stops, kind of almost. So therapy, as they would say. And I don't know, it's hard to explain to get the real picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let me ask you this: when did you fall in love with basketball?
AI, going to the Sixers game. My dad always loved basketball. We was around the court and stuff, but going to Sixers game and how everyone loved AI. You know what I mean? Like good or bad, win or lose. Like if you see AI, you respect him. You salute him. You know what he's about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So seeing him and seeing how hard he played, it was kind of like I seen that up close. I remember a story I just told my bro after the game. We stayed, I think, like an hour afterwards and caught AI coming out, driving out, and I ran up, knocked on his window. You know what I mean? Like, at the time, that's like Jordan. You know what I mean? Right. So, like, when I seen that, and I'm like, I'm starting to be around people who has had those dreams of being in the NBA, and so now I'm learning, and you could play AAU, I wish I would have played, you know what I mean? Things of that nature. Now I'm starting to learn and meet people outside of Philadelphia, outside of Delaware, away from me that has different viewpoints, and now I'm picking brains and working with different people and learning different things instead of repeating the same thing that I see.
Yeah. Where did because I've watched you play, and anybody that's an aspiring basketball player, they should watch you play.
I appreciate that.
You play the right way.
I appreciate that.
You're a great teammate, but you play hard. I mean, you got a toughness to you, and I think that when you talk about, like, I think that there's a recipe. Like, for me, I want to replicate success. I say underdogs, they find a recipe, and then they stick to the recipe. My mama can cook. My mama loves to cook sweet potato pies, and so like she's been cooking sweet potato pies my entire life. And one time I never really noticed, but I'm watching her, and I see her pull out her recipe book, and I was looking like, why are you following the recipe? You don't know about now. You've been cooking like sweet potato pies longer than I've been living. She looked at me like I was crazy, and she said, "Yeah, I know." And every time she's that one, because you got the aunts, right? That don't nobody eat their food. You know how you say, "Who cooked that?"
Yeah,
my mom, the other one. Like when my mom, I remember 4th of July, she once cooked the cake. Bruh, like I messed up and went to the restroom. I came back, it wasn't nothing but crumbs and frosting, and I ate that. So she's like that. So she says, like, I know the recipe. I know what the recipe is going to produce, so why would I not follow it?
Right.
Dang.
Every time.
I need to take that as it approaches to my life, and especially as an underdog.
Yeah.
So I think that there are some recipes that are universal for an underdog. One of them is just toughness and competitiveness.
Yeah.
I know that's in your recipe. Where did that come from?
Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even playing on the park, people that don't play basketball is talking probably worse than people that actually who, if you do bad, you hear about it. It kind of shows who you are as a man. I don't know if it's good or bad, but how you are on the court and how your demeanor and what you allow go kind of show who you are as a man and how we respect you off the court. So when you're on the court, you take it damn near more serious than being off the court. And so from there on, I just been around dogs. Like I gravitate, my energy just naturally gravitates to people who either think they're better than me or better than the best in the world, you know what I mean? Or work as hard to be that. So now when we in the same vicinity, we pushing each other to, imagine that we couldn't even think of. So I've been blessed to be around that after I started playing basketball, and coaches that allowed me to learn through my mistakes since I started late. Like, I guess they seen something in me that I didn't in the people in my neighborhood, but I started late, so it was a lot of mistakes that I did that I know is frustrating to my coaches and my teammates. You know what I mean? But I was just learning, and they allowed me to work through that and seeing it in me. Yeah, so I have to thank them.
There's two things I want to like really lean in on that. You said dog. Everybody throws that around. Like I'm a basketball trainer. Like I've trained in Texas, I've trained in Colorado, I've trained in California, I've coached it. Everybody's a dog. And I think there's power in definition. And I think that, like, as an underdog, we need to have a universal definition, because I don't think everybody that say they a dog really is a dog. Like, but, they say men lie, women lie. Your production don't. Yeah. And, like, what you've done in basketball, you're, like, if you say you're a dog, it speaks for itself. So define to me, what is a dog?
First, I want to say I think most people that's dogs don't really call themselves dogs. You know what I mean? It's just because you expect everyone to be like that. That's how you look at basketball. Like, if you love basketball, you got to be a dog. Yeah. If you've gotten this far. But my definition would just be someone who doesn't know the limit. Like, someone tells you this is what we can do, or this is what you can do, and you're kind of ignorant to it. Right. And so you work hard to prove that, you know what I mean? To I can do that. I can do that. And so that's kind of like, you're just consistent. Right. You don't know how not to get it. You have to get it. And that's just how I think and look at life. And that's why I'm able to keep going, because it's like, there's so many things that I don't know how to do, and I see other people do, and I'm like, if I could do that, that'd be, and I have to get there. I have to, so I can be on those levels where I can compete with the best to see how good you really are. So it's somewhat ego, somewhat being naive, confident, but also respectful and understanding of its levels and its different things, and you have to be self-aware. And so that's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And then you talked about so you talked about making mistakes, and like for you to start late and do all you did in basketball, like you were gonna make a lot of mistakes. But I think when we talk about that underdog recipe, another one that you have to throw in there is resiliency.
Yeah.
And to me, like resiliency, obviously, is just how you respond to failure. It's just like me as a trainer, like sports is 80% mental. And you're a testament to that because of your mentality. So when I train, your fiance will tell you that, like, I'm going to push you to fail, right? Because when you fail a lot in that workout, you're developing a spirit of resiliency. And resiliency is not just, you have to get up, but how do you get up? Like, do you still have that swag? Do you still have that belief? And so how are you able to have this resiliency, or what's that mindset, or what advice could you give somebody? Because I think what stands between us and being our best self, and whether it's making it to the league or writing a book or whatever, is having that spirit of resiliency. Where did that come from, and what advice do you have for somebody that struggles with making mistakes, being afraid?
The first thing is, for me, is just being, a man of your word. If I sign up for a team and this is what comes with the team, I got to see this through. And that's kind of something my mom and dad taught me, like a lot of lessons throughout when I was younger, is whatever you do, you got to deal with that. Whatever comes with that is good or bad. You got to see that through, because you put yourself in that position. You made that decision. So for me, if I say I'm going to be part of this team and I signed up, and I got to do even things that's tough, I'm going to come back to the team because this is what I signed up for until it's over. And then we can go our separate ways. So that's the first thing. Secondly, I just feel like you have to love for others first. You know what I mean? Like, the world is so condemned with social media and what life should be like at a certain point, or when you're here, or when you're going through this phase, or things of that nature, where I believe we are not using social media for the right reasons. And so, well, some of us, I should say, some people are
by and large,
some people are using it the right way to promote good, to put people on, to spread awareness, to do things of that nature. But I feel like when we understand the power of our voice and telling the real, then we'll benefit. Like, I struggle to post on social media because I'm not going to post the bad things that happen. I'm only going to post when the good things happen. So now I'm giving a false image, no matter what image I'm trying, you know what I mean? Even if I'm not doing it for anything, it's a false image. Because if you go through my page, you're going to see everything that's high. And that's not,
it's a highlight.
That's not what my life is. And so that's not, and now you view other people's lives, and that's what it is. And you think that, and it has a mental effect, like you said, 90-80% mental.
No doubt. I think that, like social media is huge in how we consume it and how we post. And I challenge myself to be as authentic as possible. And I try to I think that we have to encourage each other to navigate through social media.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the thing that I tell people is we'll probably get into this because we talked about comparison. You've talked about like how you had to overcome comparison, but when you compare somebody on social media, like you're comparing yourself to a version of them that they're not like, bro, I know somebody, and I'm not going to mention any names, but I used to live next to like a private airport where like the G-Force, you know what I'm saying? Where like the high rollers fly in and out of. He had a plug there. So he had somebody that worked there, so he would go take pictures in the plane and act like he flying to jet setting, but he was just driving, you know what I'm saying? And now you compare yourself to that and you feel like you're less than.
100%.
You know what I mean? And I know like that's a perfect segue into, your basketball journey. Because we've talked as we've been training this week, and you talked about how early on when you first started, how you looked up to people and maybe put them on a pedestal, and how did that affect you in your when you first started basketball?
I mean, not even just early up. still I had to learn recently. But it's just like social media, things of that nature. You tend to compare where you're at in life and what you see or what you think someone else is and what that means. And like we were saying earlier, the journeys is different, so you can never compare because literally everyone's journey is different.
It's special, yeah.
And so when I'm at a certain point, you might be ahead of me, you just might not feel it because you've already started. You know what I mean? So I might have more growth than you, so it looks like I'm doing more than you.
Right.
But I had to learn over time that as much as I want it for myself, I don't know what I don't know and what I'm ready for, and I don't know what the other man or woman has went through to get what their blessings are or why they're in the positions they're in. And so younger me, I'm not understanding that because if he hoops and he's this guy, when he walk in the park, it look like this, I want that too if I'm a hoop. But it also helped me because now when I play against those guys, I have to, like, if you're the underdog, you have to live up. This is your chance to show that you belong. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that pushes me.
Right. What do you think about this? I was writing this the other day. Hopefully I can find some way to finesse it into my book. But when we talk about the grass is always greener on the other side. And I was just like, basically, maybe your grass isn't green because you keep going to the other side. And so wherever you go, you're not taking care of your grass. So when you see somebody, maybe it's a blessing when you see somebody with green grass. And maybe you're not supposed to hate. Maybe you're not supposed to get threatened. But maybe you're supposed to be like, hey, excuse me, your grass is real green. Could you tell me what you did to make your grass green? Because I feel like we're all given grass. And if you keep moving, your grass is never going to be as green. So instead of looking at it, comparing somebody, looking at it, and just like Kobe Bryant said, the best advice he ever got was from Michael Jackson. And I try to do that whether I'm around you or whether I'm around anybody that great. He says, study the greats. When you're blessed enough to be around somebody great, study them. That's what we should do when we want to have that grass is always greener and try to like feel bad about ourselves because our grass isn't green, or just jump over there, study them and find out what they did, because if their grass is green, I'm gonna find what they did and make mine green.
But actually put the time in to understand why their grass is green and what they went through to get it green. You know what I mean? Like it might look green, but it might be some stuff that you're not ready to go through to get your grass to be green in that area. So you might need to, you know what I mean? So you gotta be around those people, because who you around is 9 times out of 10 what you are. You know what I mean? Like if you're around better, then you're going to become better. You're going to learn more. But I think you need to ask those questions and ask what it took to get green, and do I want to risk that time or that sacrifice?
I want to invest,
Exactly. Because
you just wake up one day and that grass was green.
Exactly. And sometimes we get into things not knowing, because it looks good on social media, or the grass is green and it looks good. So now I want that. That's what they do. I want to do that. And when you get in there, it's a little tougher, and you know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean. I'm a basketball trainer. Like, I get people all the time, and like, you know, you can't, you know, like I will, if I put like a real workout, gritty and authentic, like nobody's looking at that. But then the one that with all the angles and the high level camera and all that, they're looking at that, so they think it's sweet. And that's what you're saying. Then they come to a workout like it's a photo shoot, and they like, bruh, like, nah, this ain't really what I thought it was.
And like, it's so many cameras that people are scared to play now. So it's like people are scared to, like, especially out of the season, off season. It's like so many cameras, and people are scared to get this and that. When it's actually like it's going to happen. Especially the higher you go, the better people you play against. That's what comes with this game. You know what I mean? So I just think we have to be more confident and uplifting what's going on when we're in these situations.
Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated, Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated, we the ones. We the ones.